The humanities. Art appreciation is one of the fields of study in the humanities. To put in context, what we seek to learn in this subject and what is its value to us, let us clarify. What do we study in humanities and why do we study them? 1. What is studied in humanities? As its very name connotes, the humanities are studies about humanity, mga araling pantao. Their subject matter is about ourselves, our humanity, who or what we are as human beings, the world where we find ourselves in, and the society we belong to. The humanities, among others, include the study of philosophy, archaeology, religion, language, literature, law, history, theory, and criticism of the arts. Man an enigma. To psychologist Carl Jung, quote, "Man is an enigma to himself," unquote. Man is a mystery to himself. Something is hidden from us. There is something we cannot fully understand about ourselves. How much do we really know about ourselves? Our being human, the world we live in, the society we belong to. Because of certain experiences, we do not find that we are a mystery to ourselves. There's something hidden from us, something we cannot fully understand. How much do we really know about ourselves, our human being, the world we live in, the society we belong to? Reflection. May I invite you to some reflection? Have you ever had such a kind of experience where you appeared to be a mystery to yourself? May you please relate it to why you experienced to be a mystery to yourself. 3. Why do we not fully understand ourselves? Through science, we now have a better understanding of the workings of nature, how it moves or behaves, what laws govern it. Because of the discoveries of science, we now have a greater mystery of nature that we can use to respond to our day-to-day needs like food or health. But how much do we really know about ourselves as human beings? Sadly, unlike nature, we have so far failed to fully understand ourselves and master ourselves. We remain enslaved by our weakness, like our quest for wealth or power at all costs. While we have advanced in our knowledge of these such laws, which govern nature and their uses, we remain to have a vague understanding of ourselves. Who we are, where do we come from, where we are going. It is with similar frame of mind that the psychologist Erich Fromm wrote the book Man from Himself, an inquiry into psychology of ethics. A spirit of pride and optimism has distinguished Western culture in the last few centuries. Pride in reason as man's instrument for his understanding and mysteries of nature. Yet modern man feels uneasy and more bewildered. He works and strives, but he is dimly aware of a sense of fulfillity with regard to his activities. While his power over matter grows, he feels powerless in his individual life and in society. With all his power about matter, he is ignorant with regard to the most important and fundamental questions about human existence. What man is, how he ought to live, and how the tremendous energies within man can be released and used productively. Number 4. Perspectives in understanding our humanity. The humanities seek to unravel the enigma which man is. The humanities are different ways that we seek to understand ourselves. Through history, for instance, we seek to understand ourselves by looking into our past as a guide to our future. Those who cannot fully remember the past are condemned to repeat it, said George Satanaya. It is said that Filipinos have a very short memory. This is what Lee Kuan Yew, former Prime Minister of Singapore, has to say about the Filipinos and the Philippines. It is a soft, forgiving culture. Only in the Philippines can a leader like Ferdinand Marcos, who pillaged this country for over 20 years, still be considered for a national burial. Insignificant amounts of loot have been recovered, yet his wife and children were allowed to return and engage in politics. Do you agree? Of the burial of Ferdinand Marcos Sr. at the Libingan ng mga Bayani, someone contended as follows. It is, quote, to penetrate the lie in a clear distortion of history. The Marcoses, the plunderer, and human rights violator is a hero. Now the son of the dictator wants to make the lie complete. with his push to revive our history books. He's even running for presidency. We should oppose this sinister move of the Marcoses, pursuant to our collective responsibility to pass to the next generations what really happened during the days of the Marcos dictatorship. Failure to do so may again allow tyranny to rule this land of ours. We are now, in fact, experiencing a gradual descent into another tyranny. Sadly, because of many of us are oblivious of our past and have really not learned the sad lessons of our history. Unquote. Number 5. What is the importance of humanities? The humanities, said the Ohio Humanities Council, quote, help us make sense of our lives and our world by showing how others have lived and thought about life. The humanities help us decide what is important in our lives and what we can do to make it better. Unquote. What does making sense of our lives and our world mean? It means having a better understanding of ourselves. What or who we are as human beings? What are we in the conditions we find ourselves in our world and society? What are hopes, dreams, and aspirations, as well as our disillusionments and frustrations? And what will this understanding help us to do according to the Ohio Humanities Council? It will help us decide what is important in our lives, that is, what really matters, which we should value, and thus, what we can do to make it better. To Greek philosopher Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living. His counsel to us, know thyself. Why? For we may already be living wrongly, and thus destroying our life, without our even being aware of it. Let us then seek for a better understanding of ourselves, through the humanities and in the subject through art appreciation. Second PDF, B, Art Appreciation Lecture Revised. 1. How shall we seek to understand ourselves through art appreciation? In the subject of art appreciation, we shall seek to understand ourselves through arts. What do arts disclose about our humanity? Who are we? The conditions we find ourselves in our world and society, of what we consider true, good, and beautiful, our hopes, dreams, and aspirations, as well as frustrations and disillusionment. What will that understanding of ourselves, of our humanity, through art, help us decide what is important in our lives, what matters, thus we should value? At the end of this course, I will ask you to write an essay. What did you study of AA, art appreciation, disclose you about our humanity? Who and what you are as a human being? Number 2, with that understanding of yourself, what then did you discover is important in your life, which you value? Thus, please take note of the 2 questions we proceed in our study of art appreciation. Please take down notes and insights you arrived, which help us answer those questions. Number 2, which arts are we referring to? When we speak of the arts in the subject, we refer specifically to the work of art like paintings. Like painting? What else? Sculpture, architecture, music, drama, film, among others. Number 3, what do we appreciate? What do we experience when we appreciate something? What do we mean when we appreciate something? Can you give an example of something that you appreciate? Perhaps you've seen a painting, listened to music, read a novel or a poem, and you appreciated them. What is that which we experience when you appreciate them? They delight us, please us. Guido Corradi, a psychology researcher, spoke of a woman standing in front of a piece of art she finds delightful and thinks about buying it. What causes us delight? There is something in it that we admire, something we value, and for which we are thankful for. A good deed someone showed to us, a truth conveyed to us. Let's take this photo. It's not even a work of art, but a photograph, perhaps of the rising sun. Is it something you would appreciate? Is it something that delights or pleases you? Something which inspires admiration, for which you value and are thankful for? Appreciation is, quote, a feeling of expression of admiration, approval, gratitude. The recognition and enjoyment of the good qualities of someone or something, unquote. Number 4, what we appreciate in works of art. What exactly do we appreciate? What are those qualities in a work of art that we appreciate, which pleases and delight us? Perhaps beauty? What is that which pleases us and to which we take delight to? What is that we admire, value, and are thankful for? Look again at the photo of a sunrise. What is it in this sunrise which we may possibly appreciate? The beauty of the sunrise? We take delight of works of art because of the beauty they exhibit. What else do we appreciate? We spoke earlier of a man as an enigma. If you were a painter, how would you depict it? This is Salvador Dali's painting, entitled The Endless Enigma. It is said that when The Endless Enigma was first shown in the 1939 exhibition in New York, it attracted a vast amount of crowds. What is it in this photo which depicts the theme of this painting? The most famous section of the Sistine Chapel ceiling, Michelangelo's creation of Adam. What about the biblical story of creation? If you were the painter, how would you depict it? How about creativity? Else do we appreciate or admire in works of art like a painting? Not everyone can paint the way a painter can do. It requires skill, creativity, and imagination. We thus also appreciate works of art like that painting for creativity, skill, and imagination exhibited by the artist. When would you consider a person creative? To create is, quote, to make or bring into existence something new. A person is creative. Thus, if he has the ability to come up with something new and exciting ideas, he is able to use his imagination or original ideas in production of something. And would you consider a person skillful if he has the ability to do something well, with ease and facility, which comes from training and practice? There are paintings which are exact copies or imitations of the original, that some will mistake it as the work of a certain painter. Would you consider that person who produced it as an artist? Yet he is skillful, but is he creative? How about we look at great, revelatory, and emotional power? Let's take this painting. Life is full of pain and suffering. There are no words, but only a picture. But what thoughts come to your mind as you look at this painting? Are there certain emotions that aroused you? No words, only a picture. But pictures do paint 1,000 words, which words perhaps cannot fully express. Works of art have a great revelatory and emotional power. They communicate to us certain ideas and emotions. This is art, the appreciation of which we will seek to study and learn. The arts have power to make us see what we ordinarily may not notice, as well as we feel strongly about certain things. So, what is art then? This is 5. Art, as exhibited in works of art like paintings, for instance, the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in visual forms such as paintings or sculptures, producing work to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. It is, quote, anything made by human creativity and skill for the purpose of expressing or eliciting emotional response through beauty or imagination. Number 6, what is art appreciation then? We mentioned earlier that appreciation is a feeling or expression of admiration, approval, and gratitude, the recognition and enjoyment of the good qualities of someone or something. Art appreciation, then, is being delighted or pleased by works of art, admiring works of art, that is, recognizing the good qualities we see in them. Art appreciation, as one definition goes, is, quote, the knowledge and understanding of the universal and timeless qualities that identify great art. What is the value of the study of art appreciation? Being able to recognize those good qualities, we are able not only to appreciate art, but also analyze, critique, and judge what art truly is. Those exhibiting beauty, creativity, and skill. as well as the revelatory and emotional power. 7. Is the skill, creativity of the artist a gift or inborn? Anybody of you have an inclination to art? Some think that the skill or creativity of the artist is an inborn gift. Artists, however, themselves have spoken to not to be so. While one must have a passion for one's art, the skill in what they do is a product of hard work and constant practice. Quote, "The art trade brings with it certain prejudices, particularly ideas that painting is a gift. Well, yes, a gift, but not as they make it appear. One must reach out and take it, not wait until it manifests itself in its own accord. One learns by doing. One becomes a painter by painting. If one wants to become a painter, if one has the passion, if one feels what you feel, then one can do it. But this can go hand in hand with difficulty, worries, disappointments, times of melancholy, and powerlessness, and all that." Unquote. This is by the letter by Vincent van Gogh to his brother Theo on the 16th of October, 1883. "I am doubtful of any talent, so whatever I choose to be will be accomplished only by long study and work." Jackson Pollock, an abstract expressionist. Quote, "If you have great talents, industry will improve them. If you have great but moderate abilities, industry will supply their deficiency. Nothing is denied to well-directed labor. Nothing is ever to be obtained without it." Joshua Reynolds, an English artist. Quote, "What they call talent is nothing but the capacity for doing continuous work in the right way." Winslow Homer, American artist. "Talent is long patience, and originality and effort of will, of intense observation." Gustave Flaubert, French novelist. "Self-discipline without talent can often achieve astounding results, whereas talent without self-discipline inevitably dooms itself to failure." Sidney Harris, American journalist. "Creative thinking is not a talent. It is a skill that can be learned. It empowers people by adding strength to their natural abilities, which improves teamwork, productivity, and where appropriate profits." Edward de Bono, creative writer. Number 8. Are these art? Take this photo entitled, "Oh!" Would you consider them to be art? And which is deserving of your admiration? What do you think? Is this painting something that is deserving of your admiration? Does it exhibit beauty, creativity, and skill? What do you think? This is a painting by Richard Gomez, actor and current mayor of Ormoc City. It is entitled, "Oh!" Basing on the image of its title. Do you get what message Mr. Gomez wishes to convey? What do you see? The male sex organ, right? And the message you get from looking at the painting. Gomez claims it as self-explanatory. Given a deeper thought, it shows lust, self-pleasure, and power. It expresses an idea indeed, but does it manifest creativity and skill? What about this artwork? What about this alleged invisible sculpture? Some have so defined art in such a way that it obviously means nothing at all. Any fool can present you something, call it art, and the wonder of it is like the sophists of ancient Greece. They gain adherents. Art is something to be appreciated. It must have certain qualities that we are able to recognize and enjoy, that pleases us, inspires our admiration, approval, and gratitude. It must exhibit beauty, creativity, and skill, for which reason I defined art, or more specifically works of art, as, quote, the expressions or the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as a painting or a sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. Quote, "Things are beautiful," unquote, said Thomas Aquinas, quote, "which please when perceived." So how could you possibly discern any element of beauty, creativity, or skill in what this guy claims to be art? Well, some may say there's a sucker born every minute. Number 9. Artificial sand of Manila Bay. Look at this photo. Do you recognize it? This is the artificial sand beach of Manila Bay. Have you gone there? Do these people appreciate this beach? Oh, certainly. They find it beautiful and were delighted when they saw. Why? What was Manila Beach before? This was Manila Bay before, full of trash and thus ugly. And now it is beautiful. According to John Poet Keats, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass on to nothingness, but still will keep a bower quiet for us and asleep, full of sweet dreams and health and a quiet breathing." True beauty lasts. It survives the test of time. Can it be said for the artificial beach of Manila Bay? This is how it looks after Typhoon Ulysses. Sadly, it is but a cosmetic change, one intended to make you believe that something is better or beautiful when really the problem has not been solved. Number 10. On creative life. On creativity, Shalom Karmi tells us, however, that the creative life is not limited to certain intellectual or artistic pursuits, like writing a poem or a novel, composing a piece of music, or producing a work of visual art. In a certain sense, a life well lived is a work of art. Human creativity is often needed and exhibited in a variety of ideas, in some situations leading support to others or apologizing for words or actions. What? Human creativity is often needed and exhibited. Bleh. Human creativity is often needed and exhibited in a variety of ideas. In some situations, lending support to others or apologizing for their words or actions we regret requires creativity. These acts can often be well done through routine, even unthinking performance, but not always. We frequently offer help. We frequently offer help without adequately thinking through what help is needed, if any. And not infrequently, there is a danger that we offer help in a way that belittles the recipient and causes a loss of self-respect. Like labor and like love, a certain virtuosity in navigating sometimes difficult moments in life is necessary. In a certain sense, a life well lived is a work of art, which we cherish in others, as is evident in the fact that we often ask those who are wise to mediate conflicts or call upon themselves for personal counsel when we've made a mess of our relationships. Consider Anna Patricia Non, which is credited for putting up the first community pantry, and which eventually caught fire, spreading all over the country. Her endeavor could have lasted only for days, as is the fate of some charitable enterprises. Yet, she put a slogan, quote, "Magbigay ayon sa kakayahan, kumuha batay sa pangangailangan," unquote. Isn't that creativity? That was originally of Christian inspiration, which was only adopted by Karl Marx. Quote, "There was no needy person among them, for those who owned property or houses would sell them, bring the proceeds of the sale, and put them to the feet of the apostles. And they were distributed to each according to need. So the disciples determined that according to ability, each should send relief to the brothers who have lived in Judea." If only Christianity was able to live up to its original spirit, the world would not be what it is today. Is art worth dying for? We earlier mentioned that when we appreciate something, it is something we value and for which we are thankful for. If you value something, would you be willing to fight for it? Or even sacrifice and die for it? Heroes and martyrs have died for the beliefs and principles they value. What about paintings or sculptures, for instance? Would you be willing to fight for them? Or even die for them? Take the base of Michelangelo's Madonna and Child, or the altarpiece of St. Bravo's Cathedral in Belgium. Is art worth dying for? Some believe so. During the Second World War, an army unit nicknamed Monuments Men, which risked their lives, at least one even died in the process in their efforts to recover the art pieces stolen by the Nazis, and thus in great danger of being destroyed. The Monuments Men were not even soldiers, but historians, architects, museum curators, and professors. Were it not for the heroism of the Monument Men, tens and thousands of priceless works of art would have been lost to the world forever. You may be interested to watch the movie of that title,